And we are live. If everyone can see and hear me, please drop a one in the chat and then we will get started. Before we do that, I just want to say a little disclaimer. Everything I'm about to say is my opinion, and I do believe my opinion and I stand on my opinion, but I'm just saying that because, the legality of some of what I might be about to say, I don't know how that all works out. So I just want to make that clear. This is my opinion and I'm stating my opinion. Um, let's see. So if you can hear me, please drop a one in the chat. And then, yeah. Okay, I see a couple ones. I see we got 3M. All right, April Davis. All right, so yeah, I'm going to just kind of talk and I'll ignore the chat for the most part, but I appreciate everyone for joining us. And yeah, so the reason I am doing this live is because on an almost daily basis, I get comments on my old AWP video where I first address things. And they're always saying, hey, I wish I knew this, or, oh, I'm sorry I didn't know this sooner. That kind of made me realize that there are a lot of AWP supporters and people in general that don't even know any of the stuff I'm about to tell you. So that made me want to talk about this. And yeah, but what really sparked it was one day I was actually on TikTok and I was scrolling. Like, a lot of people my age do. I was just sitting there scrolling. And I've been sent AWP TikToks a couple times, but I've actually never really paid attention to them. It's like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. But this one I was scrolling and it caught me because it was a video of my dad and Jared crying. So immediately I stopped and I'm watching it. And they had actually just confirmed where a missing person was, and they were telling the family, and they're all crying and bawling. And I'm watching this video, and at the bottom, if you've ever been on TikTok, I see that there's this little thing that says for sale. It was said a little thing that said it was for sale, and they were selling a window breaker. So immediately I thought that was weird, but I kept watching, and it shows Jared and my dad. They're hugging the loved ones, and then it cuts to Jared then talking about his window breakers and how he believes that people, if they had a window breaker, 50% of the people he said he thinks would have lived, which I thought was inappropriate in general to make an ad out of people crying, because it literally goes from the people crying, then cuts to Jared selling his window breaker, which I found extremely inappropriate, especially considering the case that was in said ad. I'm not going to go into the case, but the person passing away had nothing to do with their ability to get out of a car. They self-transitioned. It was not that kind of a case. So I thought that was crazy that they decided to make an ad out of that. And then so I decided to look a little deeper into Adventures with Purpose's TikTok, because they just recently posted that. And I look deeper and I see that they are posting not only my dad, but everybody else who's left on a regular basis. And there's, TikToks where it's like, okay, they're in it. But then there's TikToks of my dad in particular, because that's what I paid the most attention to, where it's just focused on him. And these TikToks aren't just getting like a few views. Like the lowest I've seen is like 20,000. The one that I was telling you that was the ad for the window breaker had 4.8 million views. And so these are all people who, if they're watching this, are thinking not only, and these are all recently posted videos. So all these people that see this are thinking not only is AWP like a cool thing, but then my dad and all these other people are cool with them, which I think is crazy. Just because of the fact, he's posting, or whoever on his behalf is posting all this stuff. Yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, that ad really rubbed me the wrong way. And the comment section also reflected a lot of people who were upset with that being used as an ad and using the people crying as an ad. And that wasn't even the only ad like that. There were other ones of a similar vein. And so there was two AWP pages. There's the Adventures with Purpose page, and then there's a page called Missing. And the AWP is one of the 7 pages the AWP page follows. And then the Missing page is directly linked to AWP's website and window breaker ad thing. Like it's direct, like it's all connected. My whole point being is those two accounts are crazy, and yeah, I do not like the way they way they do ads and the way they post my dad and all that. So that was one thing I wanted to bring up, and I just want everybody to know that, because like I said, 4.8 million people saw that. If any of you happen to watch this, my dad was not okay. Like when he did that, he did not know it was going to be for a window breaker ad. He may have given, Jared permission to film at that time, and that might have been what it was supposed to be at the time of something, but he would not have signed off on that being an advertisement. So, yeah, so that's one thing. And I think, and like another thing about this whole thing is I feel like a lot of YouTubers within my community of YouTubers, we all kind of got this we all kind of had this mindset that we weren't really going to talk about Jared anymore. That kind of started when my dad first left AWP. We all got the mindset that we're not going to talk about him anymore. And then after all these allegations came out, then it was really like, oh, well, we say our piece and then we don't talk about it anymore. Because I think we all mistakenly thought that he would just kind of disappear quietly. But here we are, it's February 2024 and he's still out, making videos, going places, doing all this stuff. So clearly he hasn't disappeared. And I think everybody that wasn't talking about him or mentioning him like did it in good spirits, had the right intention. But I think now that he's still out and around, it's kind of actually allowed him to operate as business as usual, which I do not think. I don't know. I don't think that's right. So that's another part of the reason why I wanted to say something. And I get a lot of the people that are more, I get a lot of people that worked with him more recently have NDAs, so they can't really say anything. And I know other YouTubers like my dad and the NoMock Experience haven't really been on YouTube that much anyway. So I get that's part of it. But yeah, for the longest time, Jared and his name was kind of treated like the boogeyman. And he just didn't say his name, or if he was referred to, you just like JL or something. And like I said, I think that was done in good spirits, but I also think that is what helped him to continue to just operate business as usual. So yeah, I will no longer, like, if I have something to say about him, I'll just say it. So that's what I have to say about that. Also, let's see, I'm checking my notes. I did make notes because I want to make this as concise as possible. And like when I'm done saying what I'm going to say, I'm just going to get off of here. So I just want to get through this. So I'll check my notes real quick. But yeah, just the final statement on like the TikToks and the advertisements he's making. I just want to like double down on the fact that he is using people's worst days of their lives, probably one of, if not the worst days of their lives, where they find their missing loved one as an advertisement. Like that is, and it's working too. Like there are a lot of hits on that video, a lot of negative comments, but there's also a lot of people who probably bought window breakers off of that. And I don't think the idea of selling a window breaker is wrong by any means, but the morality of making an ad out of that is just crazy to me. So I wanted to bring that up. I also wanted to give you guys a little update on Jared's case. I know Ikamel was just live talking about it. I didn't get a chance to check that out, but I'm sure there's some good information on there. But I just wanted to let you all know that his case is moving forward, and they will be having an in-person jury trial starting on September 24th, which is still a long ways away. This has been a really long, drug-out process for whatever reason, but it's not really that surprising. They were saying, I watched, it was a pre-trial, I believe is a technical term. I watched the pre-trial yesterday, and they said that it would take 3 to 5 days to do the trial, and that there would be a jury pool of 70 people. So that'll be interesting. And then his final pre-trial is August 7th. And if you want more information like that, I do have a page linked down below called Empowering Survivors and Stories with Alex. She's one of the only people I've really seen actively, consistently post updates of all the pre-trials and stuff. So if you want to check that out, that's down below in the description of this. And yeah, And to the people, to the AWP fans, like the ones that are still AWP fans, I get a lot of comments from y'all. And a lot of y'all wonder, like, I don't know if you wonder, but that's how it comes out to me. You wonder why people think like who you're supporting is bad and all that stuff. But I just want to remind everyone that this all started with this all started with a leaked email from the Adventures with Purpose official email confessing to doing all the things he's in court for. Now, that might be, I mean, they might claim it's fake. I don't know what they're saying, but that's how this all started, was with a confession of guilt. So that is why we have all assumed that he is guilty, because it started with a confession of guilt. Now, I don't know how the court case is going to go. It's hard to, even with a confession, I guess it is hard to get all the evidence gathered from back then. But I just want to remind everyone that that is where we started. Like, this whole thing, as far as the court case goes, started with a confession. And then you wonder why we all assume he's guilty. I don't know, dog. I'm just saying. And to anyone who's tired of hearing about all this, I'm sorry. Like, the people have been subscribed to me for a while, I'm sorry if you're tired of this. Just don't click on these videos. But this video isn't for you. This isn't for the people that already know all this. This is for the AWP fan or whoever who has seen these videos and just happens to stumble upon this, because that does happen. And yeah, I've been blessed with the platform, and I feel as if I should be using it, especially when not many people are discussing this. This was a very popular subject at the time, of course, but it kind of came and went. And I think a lot of people, like, I've had people assume that Jared, because he's still out and about doing stuff, is not facing any of these charges anymore, when in fact he is. So yeah, I don't know. I think people should be conscious of that before they let him into their homes, let him work cases on their families, all that stuff. So anyways, to anyone who's tired of all this, again, apologize, but this wasn't for you. And yeah, if you want any more about my opinion or what my personal experience with AWP was, I'm not going to get into all that right now, but there is a live stream that I did that explains all of that. And I'm not going to rehash all that, but I just wanted to let you all know, one, even though he might be on it a lot, my dad is not affiliated with AWP's TikTok. We definitely don't support making ads out of crying and death and mourning. And yeah, I think that's about it. Hopefully we will be back to our regularly scheduled program this Sunday. I know this was my normal upload day, and yeah, this wasn't normal, but anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and yeah, stay safe out there, y'all, because yeah, yikes. And yeah, thanks to everyone who came out. Man, I can't believe it. Anyways, peace.